This morning, I read a sentence that stopped me dead in my tracks. It said, "Someone else's disappointment isn't proof that I made the wrong decision." And immediately, I thought about the last real in-person conversation that I had with my son. He told me that he loved me because I was his mother, but he didn't respect me, he didn't think about me, and he didn't need me in his life. And then, one by one, the painful chapters of my life were laid out before me as if it was evidence in a trial. I had married the wrong person. I stayed too long. I made mistakes. I went through another abusive relationship. And somehow, everything that had happened to me became evidence of something fundamentally wrong with me. There was no grace for the woman that had lived through those years. No curiosity about why she made the choices that she made. No empathy for what she survived. No acknowledgement that sometimes you don't recognize abuse while you're standing in the middle of it. Just disappointment. If your own child looks at your life and decides that you failed, how do you not wonder if they're right? But I'm beginning to understand something. I don't have to prove every decision I made was a good one in order to know that I am a good person. I've made bad decisions. I've trusted people that I shouldn't. I've stayed when I should have left. I've believed apologies that were not real. I've loved people that have hurt me. I've made decisions from fear, hope, trauma, loyalty, desperation, and sometimes simply because I didn't know then what I know now. But those are decisions. They are chapters. They are not my life. They are not my identity. Here's what else is true about my life. I built a successful career. I support myself. I own my home. I fought like hell for my niece, who is now my daughter, and I've built a safe life for her. I've survived grief that brought me to my knees. I've rebuilt myself more than once. At 50 years old, I'm still learning, still growing, and still willing to look at myself honestly. I'm still becoming. My son once told me that the ball was in my court, that he wouldn't reach out to build a relationship with me, but that if I reached out, he would be responsive. So I did. When I heard he'd married, I congratulated him. When I learned they were expecting a baby, I congratulated them. When I discovered that my grandchild had been born, I reached out again. When I was going to be nearby at Christmas, I told him. My message was read, but it was never responded to. That taught me something else. I cannot keep carrying the responsibility for a relationship that requires two people. I can own my mistakes without accepting responsibility for everything. I can respect my son's feelings without making his perception of me my identity. I can acknowledge that he has his own pain, his own version of our history, and agreeing that his version is his entire truth. I can finally stop standing in front of an imaginary jury, just trying to prove that my life was harder or more complicated than what it looks like from the outside. Maybe my son is disappointed in the woman that he believes that I am, but I know something he doesn't. I know her whole story. I know what she survived. I know how many times she got back up. I know how hard she fought and how deeply she loved. I know what she regrets, and I know who she became. So, someone else's disappointment in me is not proof that I failed. Sometimes it simply means they're judging a woman whose whole story they've never bothered to learn. And I'm done confusing their verdict with my truth.